Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at,
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Ramon Rogers, convicted serial killer,
Oh, wow.
but his life takes some pretty crazy turns. And I think this is going to be a really interesting one to unpack.
Yeah.
We've got his Wikipedia article pulled up here,
Okay.
and it's pretty detailed. So we
Cool.
should be able to go pretty deep on this one today.
Yay.
So Ramon Rogers,
This is the, I'm looking at this picture here. It's the guy with a kind of a beard and the glasses.
yeah, kind of salt and pepper hair, glasses.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's him. And I think, one of the things that really jumps out at me right away is that he was dabbling in acting.
Oh, wow.
And he was playing criminals.
Oh, how about that?
Before he actually became a criminal himself.
So was this was he practicing?
Yeah, was this foreshadowing?
Was this foreshadowing? Or was he drawn to these roles?
Right.
Because they resonated with something darker within him?
Yeah.
That's fascinating, right?
Super fascinating.
Yeah.
And so so we'll start from the beginning. He started life as Ramon J. Franks.
Okay.
And he was later adopted by the Rogers family in Idaho.
Idaho.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it seems like he had, what you would call like a normal upbringing.
Right.
Well-liked in school, served in the Navy.
So not your typical profile of a serial killer.
Right. Yeah, not at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then while he was in the Navy, he met Ron Statt.
Ron Statt.
Yeah, and they became friends.
All right.
And
so this is a Navy buddy.
Navy buddy, yep. And then after their service ended, they moved to San Diego together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Together.
All right.
Sure.
So they were, I guess, pretty good friends at that point.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then he had a variety of different jobs.
Okay.
Worked as a reserve sheriff's deputy.
What?
Yeah, a movie extra.
Oh, right, yeah.
Even tried out for a heavy metal band.
Wow.
So he was kind of like all over the place.
Yeah, he's not able to settle on anything.
Right.
This restlessness, does that play into it?
Well, yeah, this is something I was thinking about too. Was he just kind of like, trying to find himself, or was it something more than that?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, right?
Yeah.
Like, is this a sign of something deeper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, then things take a turn.
Okay.
Ron Statt vanishes.
Oh, wow. So this is his roommate.
Roommate, yeah.
His friend, yeah. That he was in the Navy.
Right. And there's no explanation, no real explanation for it.
Gone.
And, people would ask Rogers where he was, and he'd give all these different, inconsistent explanations.
Okay, so what kinds of things was he saying?
Oh, child support issues.
Oh.
That he just had, a wanderlust and wanted to travel.
So just throwing anything out there to see what sticks.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
And that, to me, is a huge red flag.
Yeah.
And, shortly after Statt disappears,
okay,
Rogers starts a relationship with a woman named Rose Albano.
Rose Albano.
Yeah. And she ends up getting pregnant.
Okay.
And then guess what?
She disappears.
She disappears, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. And again, same thing.
He's giving different stories.
Totally different stories, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Said she went to L.A. to see her sister. Said she went to Mexico. All these just random excuses.
Almost like he had a playbook, like he was reading from the pre-rehearsed lies.
Yeah, and that's what I find so chilling about this, is that he was an actor.
Right.
So he knows how to play different roles.
Right.
He knows how to put on different masks.
Put on a good show, right?
Yeah. And so it makes you wonder if he was kind of using those skills.
Yeah.
In real life.
To manipulate people.
To deflect suspicion.
Right.
And to maintain this appearance of normalcy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we've got 2 disappearances now.
Right.
Both connected to Ramon Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
And then a third woman.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
A third one.
This one is Beata Taranzak.
Beata Taranzak.
Yeah. And this is another ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
And she's the mother of his son.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she disappears too.
Oh, my gosh. All right. So 3 now?
3, yeah.
Wow.
And this is where things take an even darker turn.
Okay, darker than people just vanishing.
Yeah. So before she disappeared, Taranzak told her mother that Rogers had locked her in a storage unit after an argument they had.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
That's scary. Yeah, right. And so that, to me, shows a pattern
of control,
aggression.
Yeah. Okay.
And, and the police ended up getting a tip to search Rogers' storage units.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really gruesome.
Okay, so what did they find?
They find body parts,
Oh, my.
tools, used in the crimes. Personal belongings of the victims.
Oh, so this is...
It was like a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
Real house of horrors.
So they find all this stuff, and it pretty much confirms, okay, he's involved in these disappearances.
Yeah, no question.
Right.
Wow, okay.
And there's these, like, seemingly insignificant details.
Like what?
Well, like yellow Playtex gloves.
Okay.
And calendar pages with the dates of Stat and Albano's disappearances cut out.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
He cut those out of the calendar.
He cut them out, like, meticulously.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So what does that tell us about him?
That says a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the gloves, was he trying to not leave evidence?
I think so, yeah.
And then the calendar thing, does that show premeditation?
Right, yeah, like he was planning this.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's pretty clear that he was involved.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So we've got all these disappearances, this storage unit full of just like awful stuff.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's been acting this whole time?
Right, yeah.
What happens next?
Well, things are about to get even more bizarre because the trial itself is almost as strange as the crimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we'll have to find out what happens next time.
Yeah, next time we'll pick up with the trial and all the craziness that ensues.
All right.
So stay tuned.
I'm hooked already.
Yeah, this is a good one.
This is a good one.
Yeah. All right, so we left off last time.
Oh, yeah, he was about to go to trial.
Yeah, so he's got all this evidence piled up against him.
Uh-huh.
And, I'm really curious, like, what does he do at the trial?
Yeah, like you would think...
Does he maintain this facade?
Yeah, you would think the weight of everything, just the horror of it all would, crack him.
Right.
But no.
Really?
According to this, the article says that he was totally composed.
No way.
Yeah, like emotionless.
Wow.
Just diligently taking notes throughout the whole trial.
Like he was
almost like he was a student or something.
Yeah.
Or just an observer.
Detached.
Yeah, completely detached from reality.
Wow. So he's charged with the murders of Taransak, Stat, and Albano.
Right, all three.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there like stone-faced.
Yeah.
Taking notes.
Crazy. So did the jury buy it?
Well, no, I mean, the evidence was just too much, right?
Yeah.
You got the gloves, the calendar pages, the tools, the remains pointing to him.
Right.
So, guilty. 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Okay.
1 count of second degree.
So justice is served, case closed, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, he was convicted, but remember that whole thing about Idaho?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was kind of a loose end.
Well, there's this cold case from 1977.
Okay.
A woman named Marie Watson disappeared.
Marie Watson. Okay.
And guess who was living in the same neighborhood as a teenager at the time?
Oh, no way, Rogers.
Yeah.
So are they saying he's connected to this?
Well, I mean, they never officially charged him.
Okay.
But it's still pretty creepy, right?
Yeah, like how many are we talking here?
I mean, it makes you wonder, could there be more?
Like how deep does this go?
That we don't know about.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy how, like, he's just able to blend in.
Totally normal.
Seem normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is what gets me about these cases,
Yeah.
It's like evil doesn't always announce itself.
Right.
With some,
big flashing sign.
Yeah, like a big flashing sign, right?
Yeah.
It hides in plain sight.
It's really disturbing.
It is.
It's hard not to get caught up in the whole psychology to the killer.
Yeah.
But I keep thinking about the victims.
Yeah.
Of like their stories.
Right.
Their lives just cut short.
Absolutely.
And, we can't forget about them.
No, Ron Stat, Rose Albano, Beata Taransak, they were real people.
Yeah.
With families.
Yeah, and in Taransak's case, like, she had a young son.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's got to grow up without a mom.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
This is the ripple effect. It just keeps going like a stone in a pond.
Yeah, yeah.
It just keeps rippling out.
So, I mean, we've talked about his background, the crimes, the trial,
the cold case,
the impact on everybody.
Yeah, what's it all mean? Like, what can we even take away from this? Well, I think it highlights something really important.
Okay.
Like, we always try to figure out what makes people like this tick.
Right.
Like, what was the one thing?
Yeah, the one turning point.
The one thing, one trigger.
Right, yeah.
But it's not that simple.
Right.
It's never that simple.
Are you saying there's no answer?
I think it's more like,
Okay.
Human behavior is just complicated, right?
Yeah.
It's like a tapestry. It's a mix of everything.
So all these different threads?
Yeah, genetics, their childhood social influences, all their experiences.
Yeah. So what do we do with that?
I think it means we got to be more aware.
Okay.
Right? Like, pay attention to the signs.
Okay.
Those red flags.
Like those inconsistent stories.
Yeah, the stories,
expression.
The control, trust your gut.
Yeah.
If something feels off, it probably is.
Right.
And don't be afraid.
Say something.
Say something. Yeah, get help if you need to.
Yeah, you know what? Reading this, I did find one thing that was really interesting.
Okay, what's that?
Well, remember Judge Frederick Lenk?
Uh-huh. The one from the trial.
Yeah, he recently retired.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
And he was talking about his career.
Uh-huh.
And he specifically brought up the Rogers case.
Wow.
It was one of only 3 death penalty cases that he dealt with.
In his whole career?
In his whole career.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
It's crazy, right?
I mean, you can tell this case really stuck with him.
And you can tell it really had an impact.
Yeah.
And I think it brings us back to that question we were talking about before,
Yeah, about why he did it.
Yeah, like, was there something different about Rogers?
Yeah, was he just born bad or something?
Like, was he just destined to be a killer?
Right.
Or was it a series of choices that he made?
Was it circumstance?
Was it just opportunity?
Yeah.
Like, what was it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what people want to know, right?
Yeah.
Criminologists, psychologists, anybody who looks into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what makes a killer?
Yeah, and it's a question that we may never have an answer to.
I know, right? It's almost like it's scarier not knowing.
Yeah.
Like just thinking that somebody
Yeah.
could be capable of this.
Right, and you'd never even suspect it.
Exactly, and that's what makes these cases so tough to crack.
Yeah, like you think about that whole thing with him being an actor.
Right.
I mean, do you think there's a connection there?
It's possible.
Like, did that somehow contribute to
Well, some people think that
his crimes?
Yeah, that when people get really into fantasy role-playing,
Okay.
it can blur the lines between what's real and what's not.
Right, so for him...
Maybe acting wasn't just a hobby. Like, maybe it was a way for him to...
Escape.
Yeah, to escape, to kind of distance himself...
From reality.
Yeah, from what he was doing.
Wow, so he's living this double life.
On stage, and then in the shadows.
Yeah, and it all just kind of got mixed up.
It's a scary thought.
It is. So for our listener out there...
Yeah.
Who's maybe feeling a little freaked out right now.
Right.
What do we do with this? Like, what can we take away from this?
I wouldn't say, like, be suspicious of everyone.
Okay.
But just be aware, pay attention, trust your gut, and if something seems wrong, don't be afraid to say something.
Get help.
Get help, yeah.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Always.
Right.
You got it.
So I think that about wraps up our deep dive into
world.
the very unsettling world of Ramon Rogers.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
It does. I mean, it's a good reminder that things aren't always what they seem.
And that evil can be lurking anywhere.
Yeah, you really never know.
No.
So until next time, everybody,
stay curious.
stay informed, and
keep diving deep.